Welcome back to Truthful Only. Today we're going to be reacting to Barack Obama speaking to black men because, of course, he speaks for the entire black community for some reason. But there's going to be a bunch of things I disagree with Obama. I'm not a huge fan, as you could probably tell. Let's get into this video and see if he can bring any insightful thoughts to the conversation.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
You know it's getting bad when they have to pull out Obama to rally up some supporters to vote for Kamala Harris. The reason that there's not so much enthusiasm and passion to go out and vote for her because she doesn't stand for anything. She'll get on one talk show and then switch her opinion completely different than what she was saying last week. She doesn't care. She just is trying to please the crowd that's in front of her at the moment. She doesn't even know what she believes in. I don't know why Barack Obama thinks that he's able to speak for the brothers, all the black community, all the black men. These Democrats are so hooked up on everything race. Everything is about race and black this, black that. You don't speak for all of us. We all have different experiences. We do not all think the same. And I think that people are actually starting to wake up and actually question things for themselves and think for themselves and make their own decisions. We don't need a former president to come on camera and then all of a sudden try to tell us how to think and what to think. It's one thing to try to tell someone to think for themselves and then you trying to dictate the way that they think so they can vote for the candidate that you would want them to vote for.
On the one hand, you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you.
Grew up like who? Who did she grow up like? She was raised in Canada. I've never been to Canada a day in my life. I don't know how it's like out there. Then she moved to California. And then she went to Howard. I've never been to a HBCU to attend school. So we had completely different experiences. I do not relate to her whatsoever. And if you're talking about you, I do not relate to you whatsoever either. Our thought processes are completely different. Our morals, our standard of morality is completely different.
Went to college with you. Understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
Imagine being the first black president of the United States and you're still operating off of victim mentality. You made it to the highest office of the land and you're still finding a reason to be a victim and have an excuse for everything. I just don't understand what more could go right in your favor and for you to still be crying that you're a victim. You are not a victim. And you try to seem relatable to us, the normal man that's just down here working a 9 to 5 or going to school. It's not relatable at all. You have a completely different lifestyle. You do not face the same struggles that we face. You're literally a millionaire. You do not have the same struggle. You're able to afford everything. So what do black people have to do that white people do not have to do to get to the same positions? I hate when black people are saying that we have to work twice as hard as the white guy to get to the same exact position. Where is the proof of that? I feel like people are just saying stuff nowadays. And there may be circumstances on a case-by-case basis, but for you to just paint that a general struggle that we all have to face in this country, that is just completely false. Obviously, on an individual basis, you can have mistreatment, you can have favoritism, and that's just normal part of life. That doesn't just run one direction as well. You can have a black person that has favorable treatment because his manager may be black as well, and they could be looking out for them.
Concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act so everybody's got health care, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for You as a person.
What's the proof of that? You're just putting out general statements. You're very vague. What exactly are you talking about that Trump does that doesn't look out for the people? I don't want this to be misconfused that Trump is this saint and he does everything perfectly fine and she's just a disaster. I think politicians in general, they all have their cons at the end of the day. They're never going to please 100% of people. But for him to just make a general statement and not really back it up by anything, I think that's an error as well.
And you're thinking about sitting out? I'm not. But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because
no one cares if you have a problem with it. You're not going to continue to try to tell people how to think. I'm tired of people trying to act like they represent an entire community and that they dictate our thoughts and our standards of morality. Something about that just irks me. Why do people put Barack Obama on a pedestal? They act like he's like God and he's to be worshipped or something. He's a man. He does everything the same way that you do. He uses the bathroom just as you do. He eats the same way you do. He drives the same way you do. Probably does even drive. Probably has all these people driving for him. But I'm saying he does not relate to the common man. They would like to fool you to make you think that they relate to the common man and they face the same exact struggles. This dude has been in politics the last 20, 30 years. He does not face the same struggles as you. He's had a prosperous life. He's not struggling whatsoever. But he would like you to think he's struggling right along with you. He has everything that he's ever imagined that he would want. Him and his family.
Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
What we're feeling is high inflation. Our groceries going up 100% than what they were 3 years ago. What we're feeling is higher gas prices. Those are the things that we're feeling. So, once again, you're not relatable. So I don't know why you try to act like you're facing the same struggles that everybody else is.
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
What are you talking about? You're saying the woman. Not everybody has the same experience. Some people aren't even close with their parents in the first place. Once again, you're trying to seem relatable, like you're speaking for an entire community, fluffing up people's ears, telling them exactly what they want to hear because you have this lady in the background bopping her head. Because that's probably what she does for her kids, but every mother isn't the same way as her. What about the people that do not relate to anything that you're saying right now? You're not speaking to them. You're not speaking for me whatsoever.
They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble, and the system's not working for us.
What is the system? Once again, you're using these vague terms. You're talking about the system like there's just this boogeyman that's just out there to get the black community. That's just not letting the black community get a leg up. That's just not letting the black community move forward. But somehow you become the president. So 16 years later, we have not made any improvement according to you. We have not made any steps forward according to you. There has been no progress made. Once again, they like this victim mentality because the victim mentality sells. It's pandering for people that don't want to put the work in to improve their lives. And it's a lot easier for someone to just pat you on the back because the system is just out here to get you.
They're the ones who were out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
What are you referring to where Trump is degrading me, us? Like, you can't point to anything where he's degrading the black community. You're just saying that because the news is always saying that Trump is racist, and all of a sudden people just don't do any research and they just trust the news because the news is never wrong. The news is 100% right all of the time. they can never be wrong. So we just got to take that at face value and just be ignorant and just not looking at things for ourselves. That's exactly what they want you to do. And that's why people continue to vote for people like Obama and all these other Democratic candidates that don't have their best interests in mind.
Because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
You see how he's talking about degrading black people in general. Now he's talking about Trump as degrading women. What exactly are you referring to? If you actually had solidified proof and you brought it forward and people can actually examine the statement that you're making, I think that would give your argument a little bit more substance. But you're just vaguely saying this and expecting people to just take it.
That's not. This shouldn't even be a question.
It shouldn't. That's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys out on the next one.